Alright, this is everything I know about how to practice guitar. This is everything I've learned in 15 years of playing and teaching. And so, honestly, this might be just a little bit long, and if you can focus, if you can just sit through this whole video, I don't know, probably music is not for you. You should probably just click off and go watch some like Mr. Beast video or whatever people watch. But if you're willing to focus a little bit and pay attention, what I'm about to say might just save you a whole lot of time. All right, so point number one, it's not about how much you practice, but how you practice. You need to stay focused. Now, I don't know what it is with people in 2024, but it seems like nobody can focus anymore. So you need to just focus a little bit, you know, just a little bit, like half an hour every day, you know, because you already know what you should practice. You know if you don't know scales well enough, or if you don't know chords and all that basic stuff that you've probably neglected because it wasn't as fun and you preferred, you know, that quick dopamine of that you get from something else. Music is going to be very much delayed in terms of gratification. So it's going to reward you, but way down the line. And so this is why, honestly, I feel like it's more difficult for people to get into music right now, because there's just other things that are more exciting, more rewarding, more like, you know, quick, instant gratification that people really didn't have like 20 years ago. While, you know, there's definitely more resources, might be easier for a lot of things to get into. At the same time, it's a double-edged sword, and, you know, that abundance or redundance in most cases of information can just hurt you, and then you get the opposite result because you have too much stuff. You can't focus. You know, what do you even work on? There's like billions of videos every day that push you in different directions, and so you end up just not knowing what to do, and you lose that focus. And so the first thing is not how much, but how. Here's another thing, this makes me cringe, so please don't do it, or if you do, don't ever say that you do it in front of me. Do not practice while you watch TV. Okay, let me repeat that, because to me it's insane that people even do that, but apparently people practice guitar while watching TV or like watching shows or videos or whatever. Like, to me that is absolutely insane. I've never even like thought about doing that. Like, why would you, like, you know, if you want to watch a movie, just go watch a movie, you know, it's fine. You don't have to make music, it's already saturated enough. Like, we don't want you here. Okay, so yeah, just it's fine. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's crazy to me that people just play guitar and do something else at the same time. Like, just make up your mind. What do you want to do? So please do me a favor. If you're subscribed to this channel, please never play guitar while doing something else. Okay, it's just my like you're gonna hurt me. So. Not only that, but you're going to hurt yourself because you're not focusing on what you're doing. Is that even practice? You're just going through the motion. It's like, doesn't matter, completely useless. Okay, so yeah, don't do that. And then once we establish that, okay, you need to focus, so it's not how much, but it's how, then the question is, okay, so how do I do that, right? How should you practice? That's a good question. So we're starting now to ask the right questions. For me, in my personal experience, it's much more productive to practice one thing for a longer period of time than to practice just multiple things for shorter amounts of time. And so I see a lot of people with these like 10 minutes time blocks, and that it's just like, I don't know, like, what are you even doing? Like, after you go through 10 minutes of scales, like, do you really feel like you made a difference? Because you're not making a difference. You know, 10 minutes of something, it's not gonna even like put your brain in that space that it needs to be to like really understand what you're trying to make it do. So it's not gonna work. My take on that is that if you have less time, do just one thing. So if you have, I don't know, 10 minutes a day that you can play guitar. First of all, I'd say you need to fix some maybe other things in your life, but let's say that is the time that you have available. Okay, for 1 week, those 10 minutes you should dedicate to one thing. Okay, one exercise, one concept, so that, you know, in a week you have like 70 minutes And, that is a little bit of time, which is, maybe you don't have that much time availability, which is, I guess, can happen. Realistically, I mean, that's not good, but let's say it's going to be this extreme. Try to at least not diversify your focus on like too many things, because that's not going to work. Okay, so once we know how, then it's a matter of having a consistent plan, right? Having a consistent structure. And we talked about this many times on the channel. You do need a structure, even if you're on your own, it's totally fine. You don't have to buy those $99 courses. They're useless anyways. It's fine. Even if you're on your own, you have to lay down a structure that makes sense. That is, so important. Because if you don't know what to do next, you're not going to progress. And if you don't progress in a gradual way, you get discouraged. You're not going to just move fast enough to really get the reward from music, right? Which is ultimately what we're looking for. We're trying to make music that makes us feel good, right? And so if you suck, obviously that doesn't happen. And so we need to move away from that phase as quick as possible. And the structure is going to allow you to get there. So, this month, this subject, next month, another subject, or it can be longer than that or shorter than that, depending on how much you're progressing. And so you can figure out on your own how to piece together different things. It's not going to be as effective as someone else who's more advanced than you telling you what to do. However, it's better than nothing, right? And so if you're on your own, that's what you should do. If obviously you have the chance to get someone else to follow you, that's even better. And shameless plug, there is a link in the description if you're looking to have me following you through this thing to help you out. We can talk about that and see if that's even a possibility. If not, totally fine, doesn't matter, don't care. Moving on with the video. Once you have a structure in place, then next point, you need to figure out what's missing, right? So that means just recording and analyzing yourself as you go through each challenge, so that you know basically what's missing. If you don't know what problems you have in your playing, how can you really fix them? And so you need to figure out what are the weak points, what are the priorities that you need to address immediately in your guitar playing to get to the next level. In my experience, the best way to do that is to record yourself. I'll give you an example. When I started making videos like 7 years ago, maybe more, and put them out on Instagram, that was a period, that was a phase where I really skyrocketed in terms of progress, because I needed to practice so much more in order to put out something that I was proud of. Because obviously, the bar is set super high in modern guitar, and so everyone is just crazy all the time, so you need to just compete. It's a very competitive space, right? And so you need to just practice more as a consequence. And so I would just practice more so that I can get a clean take to put out, a nice take, something that could be, oh, okay, this is cool, I can put it out. And that meant like just hours and hours of extra practice, because I thought I was good, but then you record it and watch it back on video and you're like, this is not good enough. And so then you go back and you need to practice and work on that, right? And this can be an extremely effective way of moving forward with your progress. But I'm telling you, it's going to be extremely discomforting. It's going to be extremely uncomfortable to watch yourself back. So the better you get used to it, the sooner you can get the benefits of doing something like this. Another great thing is obviously play in front of people. So if you have shows, gigs that you can, do, even better if with other people, that will also help you a lot, especially if you record those gigs and analyze how you play in public, because it's very different than playing just in front of your screen in your bedroom. That experience will also tell you exactly what is missing in terms of what you should work on next to move and get to the next level. And once you know what those key aspects are that are missing in your playing, you can then build a structure around that and make sure you're focusing on the right things. Because if you're practicing and you're not sweating in discomfort, you're not really practicing. You're just playing stuff that you already know how to play to feel better about yourself. But that's not practicing. Practice needs to feel bad. Like, you need to sound bad when you practice. Otherwise, it's not, you're just playing things that you already know and you're not really practicing. You're not really moving forward. So you need to get used to that, just uncomfortable feeling of just not knowing how to really play what you're trying to play. Because obviously it's the trying, you're practicing, and it's the trying that will get you to the next level. Just keep in mind that if you feel too comfortable with what you're practicing, then it's maybe time to move on to bigger challenges. Next point, learn entire songs. Okay, this is something that I don't understand why people don't do. Like, why are you not learning songs? You're saying you want to play progressive music. Why are you not learning every progressive tune, track, song that's been released in the past years? Like, why are you not learning from the music that you like? That makes no sense to me. This is why I have a whole like repertoire section in my program with just songs, riffs to learn, solos to learn from start to finish. Like, why are you not doing that type of work? That will teach you so much more than watching videos like this one or scrolling on YouTube. Do me a favor, close this video right now, go select 2 or 3 songs you want to learn and then learn them, okay? Do me this favor, do yourself this favor, because that will help you a lot if you're trying to get better at guitar. Is it going to be easy? Absolutely not, especially if you pick songs that are maybe above your current level, but that's how you actually grow. One thing that, if I look back, made a huge difference in my journey as a guitar player, in like just making me able to progress just so much faster than the others, is that I was always trying to learn songs that were above my league, above my current level. And so that was extremely difficult, and it took a lot of time and a lot of focus, a lot of effort. And sometimes I would spend like even a whole year before being able to play that particular song. But that year spent trying to get there is basically the practice that will get you to that, higher level in terms of playing. Because everything you work on in that year is going to be progress that you make. And so you look back a year down the line, and you're like, damn, I wasn't able to play this. Now I am. And so it's also a great way to monitor your progress. Like, learning songs that maybe seem impossible to play. Once you learn them, they're possible. And so if you approach this with a frame of mind that any song is easy, you can never fail. Like, it's easy, you can do that. It's just maybe a matter of when instead of if. So this is a framework that I want you to adopt. Every song is easy, okay? That should put you in a position where you can really just choose, and then it's going to be just a matter of sticking to it, right? Which I know it can be like impossible for so many people, because once again, they can't focus. But those people are probably not at this point of the video. They probably clicked off earlier. So if you're still watching this, then you probably have a chance of just sticking to a whole song and learn it from start to finish, play it from start to finish, record it, and then this whole process might take a year, but will teach you so much. Trust me, just do this, okay? Next point, always take the extra step. Here's what most mediocre guitar players do. They buy stuff from Gem Track Central or like whatever lick package site they find. Oh, cool, new licks, nice. And then, they learn 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 10 if they're like really, persistent. So they learn, let's say 10 licks that they can play, with the tabs, maybe in Guitar Pro, they, with the metronome, and then they move on. So what did you actually learn? What did you learn? Okay, you can play a lick that you learned from like a random website, from a random guitar player, from start to finish. But like, is there anything that stays with you after that? Are you gonna even remember that lick 2 or 3 weeks down the line? Or are you just gonna forget, buy another pack, buy another course, and stay at the same stage, at the same spot? The reason why it's not staying with you, reason why you're not being able to implement what you learn, is because you're not taking the extra step. And so one thing that I said many times on this channel and in lessons and stuff is that once you learn a lick or an exercise, that's only the first step. So once you're able to play that lick, passage, solo, riff, whatever, from start to finish, that's where it starts. So that's where the work actually starts, because now you have a phrase that is new that you have to implement in your playing, because it's not just gonna be magically a part of what you play naturally. So you're gonna have to do the work of making it feel like it belongs to you in terms of vocabulary. And so if you don't do the work of, you know, the implementation of that phrase, it's just gonna stay there, you know, on that guitar profile that you can maybe play. If you have, like, if you read it with the tabs in front of you, you're still using tabs. I mean, that's we'll get to that in a second, but you know, you're not doing nearly enough work to make sure you can implement and use what you learn. You know, you're just reading numbers off of a page from like a random website. That's not learning. And so you might ask, okay, what is the extra step that I should take? Good question. You have to go through a list of things that will help you implement what you learn. And so I'm going to give you a quick list example just off the top of my mind, but there's a lot more. Transpose in different keys. Transpose to different string sets. Move to a different part of the fretboard. Move to a different mode. Move to a different chord progression. Move to a different harmonic context, a different key or a different mode of the same key. Play in a different subdivision. So maybe the original was in 16 notes. Make sure you can play it in triplet. Make sure you can play the same phrase on one string. Make sure you can play it just completely vertical on as many strings as possible. See if you can play the same things with bends, slides, vibrato, or if there's already bends, maybe turn them into slides, or if there's already vibrato, try to play just flat without vibrato. If it's picked, try to play it with your fingers. If it's played fingerstyle, try to play it with a pick. If it's alternate picking, try to play it with hybrid picking. You know, if it's economy picking, try to play it with legato, right? So this is already like 15 things that you can do after you learn one lick. Okay, so one lick equals 15 exercises. And so if you have a page with 10 exercises, that's like 150 variations of the same thing. So you can potentially buy just one lick package and study for the rest of your life. To give you maybe a little bit of context, personally, I think I've bought maybe 2 lick packages from GemTrack Central in my life. And those were the one from Marcus Foye, and another one was probably from Martin Miller, and that was like a long time ago. Sometimes some people just need a guy to show them one phrase, one idea, and they're able to just from there do all the other steps, right? So maybe for you personally, you're gonna need a little bit more guidance, which is fine, but you still need to make that effort of going the extra step and just not staying surface level, because that's not gonna help you progress any further. And so you're gonna just like play things off of the tabs that you read, and it's not gonna work. So take that extra step. That's what differentiates the pros from the rest. The others who say remain mediocre is because they stay surface level. They don't put nearly enough effort compared to the guys who put everything they have into it. Of course, it's gonna be a spectrum. I'm not expect everyone to just go crazy and nuts, but also you shouldn't just be on the other side of on the other end of the spectrum where you're like just lazy and mediocre and surface level. Final point I wanted to make: music never ends. So this is something that is at the same time, you know, beautiful about it, but kind of depressing because you never get to an end result. To me, it's actually very beautiful because it allows you to keep it interesting and motivating and fresh every time. So I'm sure that even the best of the best of the best musicians out there are still able to find things that they don't know or things that they can change in their process, because it really never ends. So there's no limit in how deep you can go each time. And so in the same way, connected to the point we made earlier of always going the extra step, well, there's always an extra step after the extra step that you take, right? And so you can always go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that also means that you don't need more resources, you know? It's not like you're missing the information, you know. Everyone is still using the same notes It's just mostly just 12 notes. Mostly we're just really using the major scale, and maybe some modal interchange. So like two major scales, okay, but it's a major scale. You probably already know the major scale. So why are you not sounding good? It's not what you know. It's not like you're missing stuff that you don't know. It's just that you don't know how to use those things. You don't know how to make music, right? You don't know how to make music yet if you're trying to learn, or some people just never get there, unfortunately. But if you do the work and put in the effort, I guarantee that you're gonna get better. It's just a fact. And so since it never ends and there's always an extra step, you should always make the effort of taking that extra step as many times as possible to get just better and better and better. It's also exponential. Like once you understand these things, like a lot of other things, they will compound, and once you get better, the next step is like you get 10 times better, then you get 100 times better, and then it decreases after a while. Of course, you're gonna get less and less better. Like I think I've been playing kind of the same for the past 5 years, which isn't great. There's maybe small improvements in 5 years, but like 10 years ago, the difference in 5 years was probably huge, right? And so that is one thing to keep in mind. The extra steps, while there's definitely always a next one, they become smaller and smaller. You're definitely not there yet if you're watching this video, so you don't have to worry about it. Just worry about the other points that we talked about, because that what really applies to you. Then, like I said, if you're looking to get external help, we can chat about whether or not the program that I run, the Learn Modern Guitar program, can be a good fit for you. If not, it's totally fine. I don't care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.